No, I think this is how she sings. And I think she sings pretty well. I'm not mad at, like, it's become a trademark voice.
Oh, that's nuts. I'm sorry.
You don't think you're like, it's Dua.
That's like saying, it's milk.
Milk is very popular.
But people are seeking alternatives.
Yeah.
What is up, everybody? It is Popcast Deluxe, your talented, kind feminist of weekly cultural review. I'm John Caramanica, a critic at the New York Times.
I'm Joe Coscarelli. I'm a reporter at the New York Times.
This is going to be a fun episode, series of segments, however you consume this. First of all, if you are on YouTube, youtube.com/popcast, subscribe, like, comment. Joe might respond to a comment of yours. I woke up this morning. I've rarely encountered such early morning violence as opening up my phone and seeing that Joe responded to a comment on, was it IG or TikTok?
Instagram. But we're going to be doing this more across platforms.
So anyway, if you are looking to bait Joe into telling you something true, now's your chance. YouTube.com/Popcast, subscribe. Popcast Deluxe on Instagram and on TikTok. We are in all those places. Swipe. The subjects for this week, we'll get to the various segments later, but we're going to start with something that we have been alluding to.
Teasing.
Frankly, we've been teasing it so long, I've been starting to worry that it won't be true by the time we actually land it.
I think this too.
Yes, but okay, we're going to get there.
But it's still true.
Everybody in America, nay, the globe, wants to know, why did Dua Lipa flop?
Or did she? They're doing a really good job arguing that, in fact, this is Dua Lipa's best performing album. Because in chart position and in pure sales, which
is a
factually true.
I'm certain of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will open this conversation
Yeah.
with a confession.
You love
I think this album's good.
It's fine. It's fine. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Like all Dua Lipa albums.
Radical optimism.
It is. It's a radically optimistic take.
Mm-hmm.
Like all Dua Lipa albums. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
There is no more polished, stitched tight, dare I say, austere pop star in the current marketplace than Dua Lipa. The people responsible for the sound of Dua Lipa are like, they're the Hulk.
Yeah.
They're the
and
hero.
New people on this album for the most part.
Yes, it sounds a little bit different.
It's Kevin Parker, Tame Impala. It's Danny Harl, PC Music vibes, and it's Tobias Jesso Jr.
My God.
Your old favorite, Adele's Secret Weapon. I saw a quote, I think Dua said this to Zane Lowe. She said, by my third album, I wanted to deserve to work with Tame Impala. I'm like,
what if we as a country, we as a nation, a pop nation, obviously we
come from many nations.
Yes, and we defy borders.
Yeah.
As a nation, we have failed, if that's a take.
I'm just like, girl, have some self-confidence. You're Dua Lipa.
Oh, I thought you were saying, girl, have some self-confidence. You could do a lot better than Kevin Parker.
I mean, I'm just like, you don't need to be but that said,
Tame Impala, Kevin Parker, one of the only musical acts since I've hosted regular podcasts.
Yeah.
There have maybe been 2 episodes total, the premises of which have been like, I understand this is a big deal, but I don't get it at all, and I think it's bad.
One was Big Thief.
One was Big Thief. The other was Tame Impala. Yeah. We're here because he gave Rihanna one sample and
she just covered the song.
Yeah,
straight up,
or whatever.
Right?
I'm sorry, respectfully, dog. I'm sure you have a beautiful house, but absolutely no. We can all do better.
But you're saying you think he delivered here with
Dua. He delivered. This is like all Dua Lipa projects. This is extremely competent. And I'm reminded briefly of another podcast that Dua Lipa did recently, Las Culturistas.
Yeah.
Bowen and Matt. On this podcast, they say basically that they believe that Dua is like a stand-in for taste. Like when you think of Dua Lipa, you think of taste. And I think I think it's meant in two different ways. One, it's good taste, but I think it's also kind of like
the idea of taste.
Or reserve. It's like reserve.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not like Borgia, you know what I mean? But it's like it's just kind of like reserve and like, you know, you think of Dua as a great posture, like carrying herself regally.
They just mean she's the most beautiful person on the planet.
But she carries herself with this kind of regality, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is accurate and also explains why no matter, even if this was an A version of this record, I think the last album was better. But even if this is an A version of this record, this is why it doesn't hit. And I have so
too smooth.
It's too smooth. This is, I've always said this is a signature disagreement me and Karen, our editor, have.
Big Dua fan.
Huge Dua fan. There is nothing to grip onto with Dua Lipa's music. There's no finger holds. There's no, you can't like, there's nothing serrated. There's no texture. And I think we happen to be in a moment right now, a particularly unsmooth pop moment. And so to answer the question, why did Dua flop? I actually don't think the answer is on this album. I think the answer is in the Sabrina Carpenter song. I think it's in the Chapel Rowan songs. What does that generation of pop have what do they share? Error, idiosyncrasy, humor, memeability.
Yeah.
I listened to this album on the way in. I've listened to it a few times now, but I listened to it on the way in today, specifically with an ear for if I was either A, making a meme, or B, and I did make a meme about something else later in the episode. We'll talk about it. If I was making a meme, or if I was picking a particularly viral potential snippet that people on TikTok could either lip sync or dance to or whatever.
Yep.
I couldn't identify one.
Yep.
There's nothing there. It's actually in an era where pop music needs to be broken down to component parts that people can put even like different identities onto within the space of a same song. None of these things work as parts. They only work as the whole. I'm not saying it's auteurist, but it only works as a smooth, finished package, and I think nobody wants that right now.
You know where this really stuck out to me is when she performs one of the ballads in the middle of this album, and you hear a little of her on the mic, like before and after.
Well, Danny eats salted licorice. Okay, all right. Let's do it.
You know, it's like supposed to be like, here we are. We're just some pals.
Easy, Waxahachie.
Like
easy, Katie.
Slow down.
Down.
We're just some pals making an album together. You know, and I'm like, and I was like, it's not working. And I had the same thought listening to this album over the past few weeks. It's not only musically. What you're laughing.
This is great. This is just great.
You just love. You love the mediocrity of Dua Lipa.
I do. I live to talk about why Dua Lipa flopped. I'm sorry. I live for it.
Okay. You're saying this musically, but it's also the problem. We've talked about this. You need meta-narrative. And the lack of meta-narrative, both in the music of this, but also in the rollout of this album. What is this album about? It's called Radical Optimism. It's about like being in a good mood.
No, but it's sort of about a breakup.
Yeah, and coming out of it, sure, but it's not.
Wait,
but there's no.
But there's like.
There's no story of this album. So unfortunately, in the long lead up, Grammys performance, single, music video teasers, in the long rollout of this album, the meta narrative became Dua Lipa is flopping because there was nothing in real time,
yes.
But even before it happened,
yes.
Because there was nothing else. There was no story to tell here. Like there was no story to tell musically, no jokes to make. And there was nobody knows what this album or Dua Lipa is about. And in the absence of that stuff, you need what she's had in the past, which is songs so big and so good and so perfectly timed that it doesn't matter because they're just that catchy. And that was New Rules, and that was, insert single from the last album, from Future Nostalgia. Like she had 3 or 4 of them. There might be some hiding on here. You wanted to listen to a song, but we can get to it because I don't think this album is dead yet.
That's your take, is that Dua actually has not flopped because this is going to have like a long tail over the summer. That's your take.
Not necessarily the summer, but you wanted to listen to a song first. So what,
Well, I mean,
what did you want to play?
These Walls. I mean, like,
Yeah.
These Walls is, to me, this is a excellent, perfectly constructed song. Smooth. It does have storytelling. If these walls can talk, they would say we should break up. Like, every part of it is right. It's another successful day at the end at the Shiny Pop Song Factory.
Yeah.
Like, everybody walked in at 9:01 a.m. and was like, today we're making a hit. And then at 4:59 they walked out and like high-fived each other, got in their Teslas and like drove back, drove home. I have no quarrel with this song at all.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a listen.
It's not supposed to hurt this much. Oh, if these walls could talk, they tell us to break up. They tell us to break up.
What did it for you on this album?
Did it for me. I like this stretch. I like these walls into What You're Doing, French Exit, and Illusion.
Is that a term, by the way?
What?
French exit?
French Exit.
Like Irish exit?
Irish Exit. French Exit. No. French Doors.
French doors? Yes, but French exit.
French Press.
French fries?
It's a spin.
No, I know, but I
don't
didn't know if it's
Yeah.
like maybe I'm not enough of a man of taste
her
to know
her
what-
ex-boyfriend? French?
Anwar?
No. Roman Garbus.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
French guy?
Trevor Noah?
Great. Actually, he made a great movie about violent protest in France. Came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It's called Athena. Shot like his music videos, like Bad Girls or whatever. Really insane action sequences. Like, highly recommend it.
Okay.
Handsome guy too, in my opinion, and in Dua Lipa's opinion. Anyway, but yeah, that stretch in the middle of this album, culminating in Illusion,
Yes.
which is like Illusion's like number 70 right now on the Billboard Hot 100. It like hit number 43, I think. But Dua makes radio songs. Dua, like, I don't think radio is gonna give up on Illusion, and I feel like it just might keep moving. But it's not the
again-
best song on here, but it's like it feels like a big hit.
Ooh, what you doing? Don't know who you think that you're confusing. I'd be like, ooh, it's amusing. You think I'm gonna fall for an illusion.
As we've talked about on earlier episodes, you already have a Dua Lipa song on radio. It just happens to be by Sabrina Carpenter.
Sure. Although a lot of people have pointed
Probably
out
Doja, a little bit more
a little
Doja.
more Doja Cat.
more Doja.
I'm like, it splits the difference.
Yeah.
But I also agree with the take that like Dua couldn't quite sell Espresso because of what
She's
you
not
mentioned
funny.
earlier, because
Yeah.
she doesn't have the self-awareness factor, the sort of like, the poking fun, the lightness of the absurdity that
Also, she
Sabrina
doesn't work late.
sells. She does not work late.
No, she doesn't work.
I vacation long because
Yeah.
I'm a singer.
Yeah, great. Just contract us
Just
to
a
the
little,
remix.
just a small
light
edit.
tweak.
A
light tweak.
But yeah, the other thing I love about this album, 37 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I finished it and I played it again. you
Okay,
know?
so like our big take for the why has Dua Lipa flopped segment of Popcast Deluxe is that we love the Dua Lipa album. That's what we've been reduced to.
I don't love it. It's just
It's good. It's
It's-
not as it's not as good as Future Nostalgia. It's good.
it's wallpaper a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I'm like, but that maybe that's the best we can hope for from these songs. They're CVS songs.
but do you
They're Uber
think-
songs.
but-
It's okay.
But do you think, like, is there a reason that Dua Lipa is a one of one right now? Because I think that making songs like this, there aren't as many obvious outlets for this kind of pop as there were in the 2010s, in the early 2010s. And so Dua Lipa, who maybe only can do this, maybe, and I want to play something that suggests maybe she can do something else. But for Dua Lipa, who at least musically primarily does this. You know, like the earliest Dua Lipa stuff that really stuck out to me was the Mark Ronson collaborations, like the
Silk City. Yeah,
Silk City, Electricity.
Yeah.
We should play that.
Amazing song.
A great record.
Yeah.
know you and how it stopped the world for you. You know I wanna let you know I'll never let this feeling go. This love has no ceiling. I cannot deny.
Even if I could, I wouldn't turn on you. And I would stop the world for you and I wanna let you know I'll never let the feeling go.
Mark Ronson also going to figure in the next part of Popcast.
Yes. Though as a more spectral presence.
Totally. Perhaps not there at all. So Dua Lipa has been doing a version of this with various producers, but she's been doing it quite literally for, when was Silk City? Like mid 2010s?
No.
2018, 17?
Yes.
Almost a decade.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's the tail end of bright, cheery pop, post Katy Perry, late 2000s and early 2010s. It's right on the tail of Taylor's poppiest period, although obviously never making dance music in this way, but bright.
Well, she was so off trend, I think, in that moment. That was a moody moment. But then the center moved back towards her, and now maybe it's already moving away. I don't know.
I just think that there may not be a house for this.
Well, I think the other
Pun
problem
intended.
is it's diminishing returns. If this is the third album of pretty good danceable pop songs, you can just play Don't Start Now. You can just play Levitating. Like, you don't need, like, does Illusion replace those songs on radio playlists
does
that
not.
don't need that much updating? You know, like, I think she hasn't swerved or topped what came before.
Do you think, when you imagine what the next wave of pure pop sounds like, does it sound like this?
No, I think it has more self-awareness. It is Sabrina Carpenter. It is Chappell Roan. It's Olivia Rodrigo. It's like breaks the fourth wall a little bit. And I think maybe Dua will try that. I think it's interesting. Camila Cabello
Oh, wow.
is
I knew
trying
Yeah.
to mess herself, to not fall into the Dua Lipa. Not that she ever succeeded quite like Dua did, and not that she's succeeding now with whatever, but like
Sort of.
Sort
She's
of.
in the conversation.
we'll see when this album comes.
I'm just saying we're talking about, like, there's no, if Camila Cabello was putting out music that sounded like these Dua Lipa songs,
We wouldn't be talking
We
about
wouldn't even talk about it.
Yeah.
And the fact that she has no center, she has nothing to lose, nothing to sacrifice.
Sure.
The catch for Dua is in, you know, whatever her next mode is, she actually does have something to sacrifice. Because even if this is moderately successful, and or to your point, the most success she's ever had, and as a charting album,
Not long term, but in the debut week, there was, it hit number 2. It was behind
her-
Taylor. It was way better, or it was way, under Taylor. And then it fell to number 21 or something. It did this is actually a little dark. Like, it did 23 million streams in its second week or something. Taylor's album did 280 million. That's a big fall. And that means nobody's really playing it over and over again, nor are they playing like even a song from it over and over again. Like, often hit songs
Will carry.
outstream that and can carry an album. Again, I think they're going to keep working these. I think like she has a proven track record in the spaces that she exists in. So I think it's okay. I don't think her career is over, but I do think she needs to try something else.
is it possible that we've arrived at a place in pop music where the pop star is disaggregated from pop music itself? Like, I think we can acknowledge
She's
that, like,
definitely going to be a celebrity.
that's what I'm saying. Like, we can acknowledge that Dua Lipa, even if she's reserved and doesn't offer meta narrative, clearly is like successful at being a famous star.
Yeah, book recommendations.
Oh, what does she recommend? Should I?
You tell me.
I don't know. Should I? Anything I should check out of the library? No. Okay. Yeah, she got a newsletter.
And a book club.
Great. She's definitely a star.
An influencer.
Yes, of some kind. I'm trying to think of a antecedent of someone who has that level of stardom predicated upon being a successful musician, but who actually doesn't, and maybe never quite did, have the music to totally sustain that framework of stardom.
There is some space between Rita Ora and Rihanna. Dua can fill it.
It's the darkest thing you've ever said. Can I play something? Like, so I really wanted to understand we don't often do headline first.
Mm-hmm.
We come up with the headlines later, but like I think we kind of knew what the headline of this was going to be, right?
Sure.
And I was like,
It's the question on everyone's lips.
I want to understand. I want to dig deep.
Yeah.
I started reading some old Dua content, some old interviews, the Wikipedia page for links to
went deep.
old things.
Yeah.
I did. I spent time
You
on
read
this.
the Wikipedia.
I went deep. Can we play Dua Lipa at 11 or 12 years old singing Alicia Keys' No One? Can we play this?
Fine.
Have you heard this?
Are we going out on this?
I don't know, but have you heard it? Maybe I should play it for you right here for a live reaction. Have you ever heard this?
I heard it when you played me a clip of it
I played
a
it
couple
for you.
days ago. And you said, "Who is this?" And I said, "I have no idea."
Somewhere between Rita Ora and
And
Rihanna.
Rihanna, yeah.
Yes. Okay. No, let's not go out on it just yet.
You got more to say?
No. But I think we should be prescriptive a little bit.
Okay.
Let's fix this.
Yeah, Playboy Cardi. That's the answer.
Playboy Cardi has never rapped on anything nearly as linear as these Dua Lipa.
No, she needs to meet him at the gas station musically.
No. Do you really think, like, I know that's viable for Camila Cabello, but like,
Is it? Yeah. No,
it's
no.
more. Okay, let's fix this. Fix it. Fix it, Joe.
Some mess. There has to be some mess. It can be musical.
Tablet.
It can be extra musical. Just a little bit of mess. Everyone is working late. you know?
Do you think that there is anything that Dua can do vocally? Like, is there something with her voice, some shading or shape of the voice that she's not currently exploring?
No, I think this is how she sings. And I think she sings pretty well. I'm not mad at, like, it's become a trademark voice.
Oh, that's nuts.
You don't
That's
think so?
I'm sorry.
You don't think you're like, it's Dua. It's like it's part of the grammar.
That's like saying, it's milk.
Milk is very popular.
But people are seeking alternatives.
Exactly.
I agree with you on the mess, but I think it's going to have to be probably extra musical. That'd be my guess.
So you agree there's not much to do with the voice?
Well, I think maybe we will go out on this Dua Lipa singing No One and then let the people decide.
Okay.